Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is obviously rejecting from this major area of resistance, currently dumping in the short term alongside the US stock market, which is currently crashing, with some massive news today, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum now starting to break below this very important area of support after just rejecting from major resistance, while the price of Solana has also just rejected from major resistance and is now retesting important support, while the price of XRP is now playing out an overbought signal. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today, we need to take a quick look at the US stock market. This is the Nasdaq 100 index, so basically the tech stocks on the 4-hour time frame, and we can see just recently and really over the last 1 to 2 weeks approximately, but especially more recently, we've started to see a major dump or possibly even more of a crash starting to form in the US stock market. And one of the major reasons as to why this dump actually started over the last couple of weeks in the stock market was also to do with the US trade war, obviously tariffs and things like that happening. And basically there was just another announcement happening today, essentially with Trump saying more tariffs are going to be coming into effect. And basically all you need to know is anytime tariffs are mentioned, the market dumps. At least that's what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Anytime new tariffs have been talked about, we are seeing dumps in the market. That's simply what has been happening. And as I usually say, when the stock market dumps, that usually influences the prices of crypto. So if we see a dump in the stock market, expect bearish price action for crypto, and vice versa. If the stock market has a bounce in the short term, expect a bounce for Bitcoin and crypto, etc. And so in other words, just yesterday we saw the Trump pump in the crypto market with that announcement of the US strategic crypto reserve, but today we're currently seeing the Trump dump. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. A lot of people are calling this market manipulation, but once again, just let me know your thoughts in the comment section below this video. But either way, this is currently causing a lot of market liquidations in the crypto market. And so we can see here in just a matter of hours, we saw hundreds of millions of dollars worth of positions completely wiped out in the crypto market with this latest dump that we saw just today. And essentially, when we have a liquidation event like this, where a bunch of long positions, for example, get liquidated, that actually adds to the sell pressure, causing more bearish price action. So that's potentially just adding fuel to the fire. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on this 4-day time frame, technically the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, but getting very close to a possible bearish crossover in this indicator. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, of course, we've already seen a bearish crossover over a month ago now, which I shared on the channel back then here in the weekly Bitcoin MACD. And so as I've been saying almost every day over the last 1 month, we should be expecting either a bit of a pullback in the price or at the very least just a bit of sideways price action. So not really a lot of bullish momentum. As always, we can see little short-term bounces here and there, but not necessarily a massive bullish trend, at least for the next few weeks, possibly months. And once again, I've already been saying that over the last few weeks for pretty much around a month now. So it's already been playing out exactly as expected. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, of course, as I've been saying for around 2 months, we have this massive bearish divergence with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the Bitcoin RSI. And so this is yet another signal on the larger timeframes telling us we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum. So of course, we did see a decent bounce just yesterday in the shorter term, but we didn't really see a lot of bullish momentum actually following that through. And so just keep that in mind. Of course, even if we have bullish news causing a bounce, or if the price bounces from short-term support, we cannot ignore these major signals on the larger timeframes that are currently telling us we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum. And so essentially not much has changed on these larger timeframes over the last few weeks. Honestly, basically the price is still perfectly playing out as I've been saying for the last few weeks based on these charts right here. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin chart, technically we still have significant support in between around 70,000 to 74,000 based on previous significant resistance becoming new support. And also we have a lot of traded volume at roughly around 70,000 give or take. But in the meantime, obviously we did run into short-term support around here. And of course, course play out an oversold signal, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I'm starting to take more of my trades over on 2bit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses simply just by using that link to make your account and starting to trade. Like for example, a brand new Mercedes-Benz or $50,000 in trading bonuses simply just by trading once again over on 2bit using that link. But if you're not one of these larger traders, you can still get some decent bonuses using that link. Like for example, a $30 sign up bonus and also a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So in other words, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus onto your new account if you use that link. And on top of all of that, you get massive trading fee discounts using that link. You're automatically upgraded to VIP level 1 trading fees. So basically you get lowered trading fees over on 2bit if you simply use that link to make your account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is indeed a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there is also BTNX as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can also claim some massive trading bonuses simply just by using that link. And also, in case you're wondering, BTNX is also a no KYC exchange as well. But with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, and of course already for around half a week approximately for the last few days, we have been playing out this oversold signal in the daily Bitcoin RSI. But with yesterday's pump, of course, we already reset the daily RSI up towards more neutral levels, towards the 50 line, basically the middle of the RSI indicator, which is now technically giving us some more room towards the downside again here in the RSI and potentially in the price. So that's why I always say an oversold signal does not guarantee that we've hit the bottom, but what it does mean is that we are likely going to see a bit of a relief or just a break from all of the bearish price action in order to help to reset the RSI. And obviously we've already very much seen that play out over the last half a week. And so I'll no longer necessarily rely on this oversold signal really any longer because it's already played out. So just be aware of the fact that it's possible we could now head a little bit lower, as I said, throughout the last 1 to 2 weeks or so. Of course, we have these larger bearish signals telling us that we're likely going to see either a bit more of a pullback or at the very least some sideways price action. But of course, along the way towards the downside, we can see bounces from oversold, for example, and also key levels of support. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame, we also have found major resistance in between around 94,000 to 95.5k based on previous significant support becoming new resistance. And so technically speaking, this is bearish price structure. When we flip previous support into new resistance, that is simply price structure that is heading in the bearish direction. So of course, overall, it's not looking too great with this latest dump here in the shorter term. But with that being said, considering the significance of this previous dump, it is actually quite likely we could hold above these local lows potentially just for the next couple of days. Usually after a move like this that we saw roughly a week ago, give or take, we actually take some time to just stabilize a little bit in the short term before potentially heading lower maybe later on. And so honestly, I'll not be surprised if the price kind of just remains range bound for a little bit just in the shorter term here. But once again, overall, we're looking slightly more bearish than we are bullish based on these larger signals. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at this 4-hour time frame, technically this short-term bullish divergence already fully played out. So I'll no longer necessarily rely on this bullish divergence any longer because we did hit overbought territories just around 1 day ago, over the last 1 day. And so essentially we just saw a pump and dump in the shorter term with the price just returning to where we started around just over a day ago. And I would expect support at around this area right here based on previous trading volume around this area sitting in between, let's just say 84,500 to around 86k approximately. I would expect support within that area. And if we were to start breaking back below around 84k, let's just say, in that case, we'd likely see a retracement back down towards these local lows just underneath $80,000 at around 79k approximately. And if we're taking a a look at this Bitcoin liquidation heat map, of course, we did wipe out some positions in the short term, but looking at the last 3 months worth of price action, we do have a small amount of liquidity at roughly 100,000, but most of the liquidity is actually sitting below the price, mainly at around 71 to 72,000, with also more liquidity at around 74,000. And in case you're new to all of this, essentially when this liquidity gets wiped out, so when the price of Bitcoin crosses to the other side of where this liquidity is sitting at, that basically means a bunch of long positions get wiped out if we're going towards the downside, or if we're going towards the upside to wipe out liquidity that's above the price, that means a bunch of short positions are getting wiped out. And usually the large players in the market, the people with a lot of money that are moving the prices around, usually tend to move the price towards where there's a lot of liquidity. Not always, but usually the price moves towards where there's major liquidity. So just keep that in mind. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, obviously Ethereum is not looking very good on the weekly time frame. We have now just confirmed a weekly candle close now below this multi-year line of support that has been support since around the middle of 2022, and previously this line of support just here was sitting at around 2670 to 2680, so just underneath 2.7k. And like I just said, we've now officially confirmed one weekly candle close below that line of support, which is a bearish confirmation signal. And since then we have seen that continued drop here in the short term down towards these previous local lows at approximately 2.1k. So especially if we break below 2.1k, that's another very important level on the price chart. And so honestly, if we confirm, well, let's just say with a weekly candle close below 2.1k, I would not be surprised if in the coming weeks we see the price continue dropping down towards around 1,500. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day time frame, we've basically just seen a rejection from this previous retracement level right here, which is acting as resistance at roughly 2,500. And of course, I mentioned it recently here on the channel, expect resistance at roughly 2,500. And also if we make it up towards around 2.8k, we have a lot of resistance around there. And as for support, we're currently retesting this all important golden pocket area of support in between around 2150 to 2.2k. But once again, I would also be paying attention to 2.1k based on previous significant resistance and previous significant support at 2.1k. And so of course, we're already looking more bearish on the larger time frames here, but at least in the shorter term, while the price is just holding above 2.1k to 2150, we can still look okay. But if we break below 2.1k, we'll likely see a drop down towards this next short-term support at around just underneath 1.9k, and then below that I'll be targeting around 1,500 as the next significant level of support, or the next significant price target. And clearly that short-term bullish divergence already fully played out. Basically right now, I'll no longer rely on this bullish divergence here on the 4-hour Ethereum chart, because we got very close to overbought territories. And with this latest dump in the shorter term, we have just created a new lower low in the price, technically now invalidating this bullish divergence. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Solana on the weekly time frame, of course, the latest weekly candle close that we saw over the last one day did actually confirm above this line of support, which was sitting at around 165 approximately. But now obviously we're actually dumping back below, again below this line of support. So of course this is looking bearish while the price is below this line of support. And so technically speaking, based on this being a massive rising wedge pattern, we still have a major price target at approximately $90. And now technically speaking, we still need to wait for a candle close below around 165 on the weekly time frame to technically confirm the $90 price target. But of course, we also have support in between the current price and $90, mainly sitting in between 120 to 130. So like I said before, we bounced from exactly that price range, expect a lot of support in between $120 to $130. So in the short term, that can potentially prevent the price from going lower. And if we're taking a look at the daily Solana chart, of course, we've just perfectly rejected from this area of resistance, which is an area I warned about recently here on the channel, sitting in between around 178 to 183. So like I said recently, we do have a bit of resistance around here in between around 156 to 161. But I said if we break out above 161, expect a continued relief closer towards around 180, and then expect a rejection, a lot of resistance around 180, 179 to 180. And that's pretty much exactly to the nearest dollar where we rejected from. And so obviously the price of Solana is still very much respecting these important support and resistance levels. And speaking of support, we're now currently retesting this short-term area of support sitting in between 133 to 139. But if we break below 133, in that case, we do have support in between around 123 to 125. And of course, we already played out that oversold signal over the last 1 week or half a week approximately. So obviously we already reset the RSI, which means we now technically have more room towards the downside, even though the price is all the way back down closer towards this local low, the previous low just here. The RSI is now quite a lot higher, giving us more room towards the downside. And as I always say, usually a lot of the top altcoins, Solana included, follows similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin and the stock market, for example, are dumping or pumping, expect something similar for a lot of the major altcoins. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily time frame, obviously XRP is following Bitcoin and the stock market and basically everything else with that short-term pump and dump. And so obviously we did just see a fake out above this area of resistance, which was sitting in between around 265 to 280. So technically speaking, now the price is back below that area. I will now continue to expect resistance within that area. And of course, we did reject from very close to $3. And I said recently here on the channel, even before that latest rejection, expect the next major resistance at close to $3 if we see a breakout above 280. But as of right now, the price is currently retesting this short-term area of support sitting in between around $2.25 to $2.30. So it's possible we could bounce from around there. But if we see a break below around 225, in that case, we'll likely see a drop down towards close to $2, basically in between $1.95 to $2.05. That would be the next significant area of support. And now, technically speaking, we do have a couple of invalidation signals to actually invalidate this previous bearish divergence, because we now have a higher high confirmed in the price and a higher high confirmed in the RSI, which is a bit of bullish price structure in the price and of course the RSI. And so I would not necessarily be confident in this bearish divergence to continue to play out. But with that being said, like I said earlier, if Bitcoin is just playing out a bit of sideways price action or continuing to dump, expect something similar for XRP. So honestly, I would not be surprised if perhaps the price bounces from one of these levels of support just here and then possibly plays out a bit of a sideways consolidation just in the shorter term. And zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 3-hour time frame, obviously roughly half a week ago, we played out this oversold signal, seeing a bounce in the short term from oversold territories in the RSI. But just over the last 1 day, we're now starting to play out an overbought signal. Obviously, we went extremely overbought in the 3-hour XRP RSI. And looking at the last time we confirmed an overbought signal, of course, we did see a bit of a pullback over the next few days. And so this is actually quite a normal reaction in the price of XRP from an overbought signal. And keep in mind, the RSI has now actually been reset out of those overbought territories back towards more neutral levels, at least on the 3-hour XRP RSI. And so this is telling us that maybe soon we actually might basically slow down this crazy bearish price action just here, and we might actually start playing out a bit of more neutral price action in the shorter term, as the price is running into previous traded volume, basically where the price stayed a lot around these previous areas compared to basically right here. Obviously, we went extremely quick towards the upside, and usually when the price goes quickly towards the upside within a certain price range, we also go quickly towards the downside within that same price range. But now that the price is entering in basically a previous sideways price range where we played out a lot of sideways price action, it's likely the price will play out something similar in the coming days within this range. But once again, just to keep an eye on what Bitcoin is doing to give you an idea on what's most likely going to happen for XRP. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, Chainlink just pretty much perfectly rejected from this retracement level, which was sitting at around $17.60 approximately. So like I've been saying over and over again here on the channel, expect a lot of resistance, mainly in between $17.50 to $18, and that's pretty pretty much exactly where the price rejected from. And so of course, despite that latest short-term bounce, we never actually confirmed any bullish trend reversal. Ultimately, we're still forming lower highs and lower lows, breaking below support levels and rejecting from resistance levels, which is all bearish price structure. So when we're talking about the larger trend as of right now for the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, technically speaking, we are simply bearish. Of course, we can see little bounces here and there in the short term, but the larger trend is bearish. And at the time of recording this video, we're currently attempting a break again below this golden pocket area of support, which is sitting in between around 1490 to 1550. And so technically speaking, now that we're breaking below this area, especially if we see more confirmation, so more candle closes below around 1490, in that case, the next major support is sitting at around 1280 to 1290. And below that, we have major support at around $10. And of course, if we actually properly confirm this break towards the downside below the golden pocket, I'd now expect some resistance within this area. But once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that you can only claim using those links. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.